All haters of Rick Walker to the Maverick Twitch channel please. All haters of Rick Walker will find sanctuary on the Maverick Twitch channel.
I can feel your anger.
Greetings Mavericks and new viewers. Tonight, direct and live from the Maverick News Network World Studios. This is Maverick News with Rick Walker.
Okay, we're live. I'm here. I'm doing some different technical things tonight, so there was a little glitch there off the top. Doing some stuff with our channels. That's why I am directing people to, well, all the people who hate me, to go to the Twitch channel, because I have to do some maintenance, some changes on the Rumble channel too. And that's going to be happening over the next few days. So I'm trying to get everyone to vacate, to go to the Twitch channel, to have your hate fest over there, all directed at me, of course, so that I can perform the changes we need on that channel, because probably starting tomorrow, maybe even, tomorrow, channel might not be running. So there's going to be disruption this week on the second Rumble channel because I have to do some tweaky stuff to it. So if you want to really, 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 really hate me and express that hate, Twitch is the place to do it. So I'm just giving you a heads up so you've got time to migrate over there. I will put a link in the Rumble channel 2 description at some point this evening so that you can find your way over there. I need to kind of figure out how to navigate over there to the live stream for you to go to that channel. We're building that channel up too, so you can go over there and then you can work to tear that down. So you can destroy it even before it really gets going. What a considerate guy I am, giving you guys the opportunity to really get in on the ground floor of destruction. So, Twitch. And we'll get channel 2 back up and running in short order, but you're going to need to go over there to, well, like I said, engage in the hate. So let me just see here. Yeah, okay. In fact, I'll do it right now. So let me get you the link for that, everybody. Here we go. That's that one. I have to go just so many things to click on here as I try to do this. Bear with me one moment. I'm getting you the right URL. Hang on. Aha, there we go. That's where we need to go. Yep. Let me just bring the audio down. Okay, now I'm going to go over here to Rumble channel 2 and find you guys. There you are. Here is the link. And there you go. All right, so that'll help you guys tonight as you navigate your way over there and get things rolling. I think we're running, aren't we, on channel 2? Is everything okay? Just checking the feed. Looks like we're up and running. Yes, we are. Good, perfect. So everything is running there. All is well in the land of the cyberverse. Speaking of the new high-tech cyber world we're living in, Joseph Lenard is going to join us very shortly to assist with the review of the newest War of the Worlds movie 2025 with Ice Cube and Eva Longoria. I watched it last night. Joseph has watched it. We're going to share our views, our reviews as we prepare our production of War of the Worlds. When I said that we were going to produce our own War of the Worlds here, I didn't even realize that they had produced or were producing or were releasing this new War of the Worlds flick. But it's out there. I saw it last night. And strangely, it opens up with a plot, some plot twists that are right in line with what I had come up with for our production. Strangely enough, not everything. Ours is somewhat different, but right off the top, there were a few things that I was like, "Holy smokes!" They're thinking along the same lines as I am. So it's all relevant, and it all ties into today's real world events in Ukraine and Gaza, especially Ukraine. We're going to talk about that tonight as well as the world continues to react to the Trump-Putin Alaska summit, where most people, I think, are in agreement that Putin really kind of outclassed Trump. Nevertheless, some praise still coming in for the president of the United States, who at least seems to be making some sort of an effort to bring the war in Ukraine to a conclusion. Now, Zelensky, European leaders met today, in some cases online, I think. And tomorrow, Zelensky is supposed to meet with Trump in Washington. So we'll be bringing you all of that as well. Also up tonight, new information on Canadian freedom trucker James Bowder, who is seeking asylum in the United States. We'll update you on what's going on with him. What else? Oh my. I don't know. We've got, let me check my headlines and my notes. I had a bunch of stuff lined up here tonight. Oh yeah, Charlie Angus. Yesterday, I ran the story about the letter from that senator in Maine who is trying to open the door for Western Canada provinces to join the United States. Charlie Angus, former member of Parliament, New Democrat, has released a fiery rebuttal to that. Not the only one, but his is the one that is getting traction online today. There was another member of the Legislative Assembly in British Columbia who also issued something. Let me just hang on a second here. Important call coming in, I guess. So let me just take the call. We'll be back on the other side. We'll start digging into today's top news stories.
Greetings, brave Mavericks. Our quest for truth continues. We go beyond fake news. Together we expose propaganda. Together we pull others out of rabbit holes. We are maverick thinkers. We are all unique individuals, defenders of individual rights and freedoms, credible, trusted, grounded in reality. Maverick News, Maverick News. Defending free speech, free speech. Donate at freedomreporters.com. Do it now. Tomorrow may be too late. Maverick News. The world is watching.
And it looks like we're having some glitching and some freezing. I think we're running. Are we running? I don't know. Let me see. Intermittent freezing. Well, that's not good, is it? I'm looking at my feed right now. It looks like we're freezing. Looks like we're back. Man. Okay, let me just see if I can make a couple of changes here that might assist. Freezing on Rumble, anyway. Let me run a little promo while I click on some more things to try to smooth things out here. I'll be right back.
You know, someone very profoundly once said many years ago that if fascism ever comes to America, it'll come in the name of liberalism.
Well, I think it's time we ask ourselves if we still know the freedoms that were intended for us by the Founding Fathers. If we lose freedom here, there's no place to escape to. This is the last stand on Earth.
The entire world is watching.
Every dictator, every crazy dictator in the world is watching. The world is watching. On TV.
The entire world is watching.
On social media.
But the entire world is watching, and yes, they are seeing what we have apparently bravely been willing to say that others are thinking.
Stand for freedom. Literally stand for freedom. Let's get this done. The entire world is watching.
We're at war with the most dangerous enemy that has ever faced mankind in his long climb from the swamp to the stars.
Maverick News. Maverick News. Maverick News.
Let me have more control of my own destiny.
The world is watching.
Okay, I'm here. Let me see if I'm so tired of the technical things and these problems. It's just driving me crazy. And it looks like we are freezing on Rumble. I don't know if the problem is here or over there. Let me check YouTube. How am I supposed to do the broadcast if everybody's freezing up? Let me just check here. It looks like we're flowing on YouTube. So I'm going to say that the problem is on Rumble. The problem is with the Rumble channel, or channels, both of them. So I'm just going to carry on. And in fact, let me look at the Twitch channel since we're sending people over there. Everything seems to be running smoothly over there. Yeah, all is well. So I'm saying that the problem is with Rumble, not here, which means I'm just going to carry on and stay calm. So let's proceed with tonight's Maverick News broadcast, shall we? First up, I don't know if you guys have been watching or paying attention to the strike with Air Canada, but they were supposed to resume flights, I guess, tonight after a back-to-work order. But Air Canada is saying it now plans to resume flights tomorrow night. There was this planned resumption of service. But the airline initially was slated to resume at 2 p.m. today, forced to put the plans on hold because the Air Canada component of the Canadian Union of Public Employees announced that its members would not comply with a Canada Industrial Relations Board directive ordering them back to work. So Air Canada issued a statement saying there were approximately 240 flights scheduled to operate Sunday, all of which have now been canceled. So Canadian, the airline says it plans to resume flights as of tomorrow evening, did not provide details as of this hour, as far as I know, on how it may do so should flight attendants remain off the job. So it's also not saying whether it would be a full resumption of service or if some flights would remain canceled. The statement says customers whose flights are canceled will be notified and are strongly advised not to go to the airport unless they have confirmed flights on other airlines. Air Canada will offer those with canceled flights options, including obtaining a full refund or receiving a credit for future travel. The carrier will also offer to rebook customers on other carriers, although capacity is currently limited due to peak summer travel season. So this strike began Saturday afternoon, and Jobs Minister Patty Hadju effectively ended the legal strike by directing the Canada Industrial Relations Board to order all the parties to resume operations and extend the union's prior collective agreement until binding arbitration determines the final outcome of the labor dispute. Air Canada's Executive Vice President and Chief Operations Officer has expressed frustration over the continuing disruption. And I've seen people from other countries, especially our friends over in the United States, some people confused by this, thinking this is going to maybe even throw a real curveball at the economy. But I was like, no, it's just another labor dispute. It'll be over soon. This has happened before. I don't know if anybody in our community here even flies on Air Canada. Flying in Canada is quite expensive. To fly across the Canada, you can fly to the States, fly all over the place. Sometimes fly off to a sunny winter getaway for a fraction of the price of flying from, say, Ontario to BC. I've just always found travel in Canada to be very, very expensive. And I can't remember the last time I ever flew on Air Canada. I think one time in my life when I was a kid. Yeah. All right. So, yeah, go over to Twitch, especially if it's freezing up on 2. It looks like the video is flowing smoothly over there. So welcome to the Twitch world as we introduce that channel to you. Another platform. We've had the channel for quite a while. I just haven't really done much with it. But you guys are welcome to go over there and hate your guts out. Okay, so a little looser tonight with our broadcast, especially given the War of the Worlds review coming up. A little bit of entertainment in the mix for this evening. But before we get to the entertainment, just a note about James Bowder, who was on our program talking about his quest for political asylum, legal asylum on the U.S. side of the border. Just as this is Sunday, and this is something we really didn't get a chance to talk about earlier in the week, but a few days ago, there was a court date dealing with James Bowder's legal issues in Canada, all related to his involvement in the Freedom Convoy. Bowder saying that trying to claim that he is the guy who started the convoy. There was a hearing in Ottawa, and his lawyer requested that the judge either stay the charges or delay the hearing for Bowder's mischief charges and other charges related to his involvement in the convoy until his asylum petition is heard on the U.S. side of the border. And he says that would save court time, avoid subsequent appeals, and safeguard Bowder's legal rights, international legal rights, if such things really even truly exist. Now, Bowder, instead, as a result of this court proceeding, which he was not present at, by the way, because he says he is in the United States somewhere in an undisclosed secret location, somewhere between the North and South Pole, as he puts it. Excuse me, Superior Court Justice Kevin Phillips has instead of staying his charges or delaying things, no, he has instead issued a summons to have James Bowder appear before him in person on August 26th to further discuss the adjournment and confirm whether Bowder will be in Ottawa for his trial. So now James Bowder has pretty much an ultimatum in front of him. And he's facing a court summons to appear before the court in Canada. So we'll see what he does now. He is saying, however, that he can't come back to Canada. He says he won't ever come back to Canada. Now, Bowder doesn't appear. The judge said he would consider submissions on whether to issue a warrant to appear under Section 512.3 of the Criminal Code or other potential outcomes that may reveal themselves to be appropriate. Those are the judge's words. A warrant, unlike a summons, could be enforced in the United States. So Mr. Bowder may find himself in a little more legal hot water than he was bargaining for. And this will potentially force this issue into a new phase and clarify how much real legal weight James Bowder's quest for political asylum in the United States really has behind it, and how much support he really has on the U.S. side. He's still making the rounds on some social media and conservative media outlets on the United States side, where they are parading him around and using him as, or pointing to him as sort of an example of how the Canadian government is engaged in overreach, political persecution, exercises of lawfare against people they say are peaceful protesters, targeting really people in the Freedom Convoy and highlighting those issues. All of this, all of it really kind of relating in a fairly direct way to the push toward making parts of Canada the 51st state. Because these charges are all in relation to the Freedom Convoy, what happened in downtown Ottawa with the trucks, all related at the time, we were told, to the opposition to vaccine mandates. But as we've seen, there are multiple factions were involved with the Freedom Convoy. So James Bowder in particular, his case, further complicated by the fact that he put forward this memorandum of understanding, which he proposed be signed by the Governor General and the Senate, along with Bowder and his wife. And this was supposed to cease all pandemic restrictions at the time, vaccine passports, vaccine mandates. And even that was sort of rejected by many people associated with the convoy leadership, if you want to call them that, leaders. So an interesting case. Now James Bowder, as he seeks political asylum on the U.S. side, facing a new kind of pressure, a summons, which could become a warrant, essentially a warrant for his arrest, extradition. And Canada does have those agreements in place with the United States, so that would then be put to the test. We'll see how much real support he has from MAGA, the Republicans, and more specifically, Donald J. Trump, which is where it seems he is hoping he will find enough support to have the President of the United States stand behind him and make him the very first Canadian ever to be granted political asylum in the United States. And if he achieves that goal, it would really destroy Canada's status or agreements with the United States as a safe destination for refugees, and would really throw Canada's alliance with the United States, its dependability as an ally, and its relationship as our relationship as a neighbor, a safe neighbor, a reliable neighbor with the United States, into question. So there's real significance to that, and I don't know how far the United States is willing to go. This is the first shot across the bow. Stay with me. More to come.
Greetings, brave Mavericks. Our quest for truth continues. We go beyond fake news. Together we expose propaganda. Together we pull others out of rabbit holes. We are maverick thinkers. We are all unique individuals, defenders of individual rights and freedoms, credible, trusted, grounded in reality. Maverick News, Maverick News. Defending free speech, Donate at freedomreporters.com. Do it now. Tomorrow may be too late. Maverick News. The world is watching.
So yesterday we showed you this, and I will bring it back up here again. This is the letter from that senator in Maine who is trying to create a pathway for Western provinces in Canada to join the U.S. This is from Senator Joseph E. Martin of Maine. So I'll bring it back up here again, just a brief review. He says, the strength of the United States lies in its fidelity to the Constitution, its emphasis on national sovereignty, and its roots in Western civilization, Christianity, and personal responsibility. These principles are not negotiable, and they must form the foundation of any expansion of the Union. If the Canadian provinces of British Columbia, Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba were to seek admission into the United States, it must be as full American states, not provinces with conditions or dual allegiance. They would come into the fold by the consent of the people, their people, and the invitation of a constitutional guided republic. There would be no hybrid governance, no special cultural carve-outs, and certainly no Canadian political baggage. It goes on and on and on, and it's basically an open invitation to join the US of A. Well, then there was an MLA from British Columbia who wrote a response, an open letter, which was quite pointed. And now we're getting pushback from, oh yeah, the guy who has really wrapped the Canadian flag around himself, Charlie Angus, former member of Parliament, New Democrat, but he's out there just beating the pavement, waving the Canadian flag, and tonight responding forcefully. Let me get you the video. I had it queued. Where'd you go, Charlie? Oh, boy. Let me run a promo. He disappeared. Charlie. Charlie.
Maverick News. Fighting for freedom.
Okay, I found him. I've got Charlie. Here he is. Let me bring him up. Gotta go. Oh, I know why. You know why? Because I was looking in the wrong place. He was his video wasn't posted where it was supposed to be posted. Here we go. Charlie Angus. Tell us what you really think of the senator in Maine. It's not pretty. Canada-U.S. relations, shall we say, are strained right now.
Good morning, Senator Martin from Maine. It's Charlie Angus here in Canada. You know, when I heard that you'd sent out these mimeographed letters to elected legislators across Western Canada asking them to commit treason, to sell out their nation, to give up their sovereignty, I thought it was a joke, honestly. I mean, for one, nobody up here has ever heard of you, so I had to look you up. And I learned, oh, you represent Maine. That's that piece of ground that's below the beautiful provinces of New Brunswick and Quebec. Now, in saying that, I know I'm being a little mean to Maine, but heck, you guys voted for him, so I hope you don't mind if I put a little bit of shoulder into your chin. So I was thinking, okay, who is this guy? And what's his offer for getting people to sell out their country? So I looked up your letter, and what did you say? You said, well, the United States has the values of Western civilization. So is that the same Western civilization that elects a convicted felon, a sexual predator, a guy who brags about feeding people to alligators? Is that your Western civilization? You say that this is a nation under the Constitution. So is that the same Constitution that makes it possible for guys in masks to kidnap people off the streets? Or the president to send the National Guard against unarmed civilians in American cities? Is that your Constitution? Then, of course, you have to say that you're a nation under Christian values. You know, I like Jesus. I sure don't like this American guy called Jesus, because when I was hungry, you fed me. When I was homeless, you gave me a bed. And when I was in prison, you came and comforted me. And you haven't done any of that, have you, Senator? Because your idea of a Bible is some schlocky gold lame stick sold by your president along with his crypto memes. That's your values. So let me just give you a quick lesson in Canada. Number one, we believe in diversity, equity, and inclusion because our diversity makes us stronger. You talk about a melting pot. Yeah, well, shit floats, and we've seen that. You believe in the inalienable right of any moron in the United States to walk into a gun store and come out with an AR-15 in order to shoot up a school of children, to terrorize high school students, to shoot up a church, a synagogue, or a Walmart because you don't happen to like the Latino Americans who shop there. Well, in Canada, we believe in the inalienable right of a family to go to the emergency ward at the hospital and get their children treated without going bankrupt, because that's what a civilized nation does. We believe in democracy, where it's one person, one vote, where elections are not decided by dark money, by super PACs, and by the oligarchs. And you know, we don't get a lot of things right here, but we're working on it, because we believe at the end of the day that the economy shouldn't just favor the 1%. It should ensure that we have diversity of opportunity. Now, that's something you totally suck at, Senator, and I'm not being mean. I looked up Maine. You have like some of the worst job numbers in the United States. You have some of the lowest wages. I would think that a new senator would have spent his time making sure that we've got jobs where you are. But no, what you're doing is picking fights with a neighbor that you're dependent upon. Because the other thing I've noticed, Senator, is that the tourism dollars in Maine have collapsed. This is the worst year ever in Maine for tourism. And why is that? Because of idiots like you insulting our nation, insulting our people, belittling us. And you think we're going to come across the border and suck up to you? It ain't going to happen. So here's the thing, Senator. There are a million places the Canadians will go spend their money. And Maine isn't one of them, because they elected a moron like you. So we're going to do our part, Senator, to make sure that nobody spends money in Maine and nobody spends money in the United States of Donald Trump, as long as you are a nation that allows people to be kidnapped off the streets, as long as you are a nation that insults your neighbors and sucks up to gangsters like Vladimir Putin. Because in Canada, we are a nation of inclusion, a nation that's multicultural, a nation that supports linguistic duality, a nation that is based on the lands that we live on, which belong to the indigenous people, and we are all going to work that out together as a nation, because we respect each other. But we don't respect you, Senator, we don't respect MAGA, and we don't respect the criminal that you work for. In Canada, we will remain true, north, strong, and free, and we will always be that. Goodbye, Senator.
Oh. Well, that is, that's diplomacy. My. There was nothing subtle about that, especially at the end. Now, speaking of letters, Melania Trump, she wrote a letter to Vladimir Putin. And Donald Trump, shared it online. Let me see if I can find it for you. And then we're going to pivot over and talk to you about James Comey, because there's a development with him too. Here, let me show you. Okay, Trump shares Melania Trump's letter to Putin. Here's the ABC headline on it. It is a touching letter. I don't know if it's going to make any difference. You have to be a pretty cold-hearted SOB, I think, to be the leader of a superpower these days. You have to make some, well, especially, I don't need to say anything more. They're killing people. Hang on a moment here. Another call coming in, and it might be important, so leave it with me. Hang on, I'll be right back.
Maverick News. Fighting for freedom.
I don't know. I have people phoning me in the middle of the program. I should just turn the phone off. They didn't even say anything. So somebody from British Columbia. Anyway, Trump shares Melania Trump's letter to Putin. President Trump shared on social media the peace letter, they're calling it, from the First Lady, hand delivered. I seriously, somebody calling again. Here we go.
Maverick News. The world is watching.
I do apologize. It was a business call. But just shows you how I can multitask. I can do a live stream, pay attention to the news, and take business calls all at the same time, but it does disrupt things here. So let's get back on track. Sometimes people are calling to tell me things like, your channel isn't running. That's why I took the call. Just in case it was one of those, and I'm just sitting here talking to myself again. Isn't that the definition of insanity, or part one of? In any event, Melania Trump, back to her. So yeah, she gave this letter directly to Putin. And let me just see if I can. I thought I had the actual letter up. I'm sure I can find it. I want to show you the letter. It is well written. It's probably had help. It'll be here. There it is. I've got it up. Instead of reading this, information from this news story or conveying what I know about it, let's just read the letter. If you haven't seen it, here it is. Dear President Putin, every child shares the same quiet dreams in their heart, whether born randomly into a nation's rustic countryside or a magnificent city center. They dream of love, possibility, and safety from danger. As parents, it is our duty to nurture the next generation's hope As leaders, the responsibility to sustain our children extends beyond the comfort of a few. Undeniably, we must strive to paint a dignity-filled world for all, so that every soul may wake to peace and so that the future itself is perfectly guarded. A simple yet profound concept, Mr. Putin, as I am sure you agree, is that each generation's descendants begin their lives with a purity and innocence which stands above geography, government, and ideology. Yet in today's world, some children are forced to carry a quiet laughter, untouched by the darkness around them, a silent defiance against the forces that can potentially claim their future. Mr. Putin, you can single-handedly restore their melodic laughter. In protecting the innocence of these children, you will do more than serve Russia alone. You serve humanity itself. Such a bold idea transcends all human division, and you, Mr. Putin, are fit to implement this vision with a stroke of the pen today. It is time. And it's signed. So a direct call on Putin to end the war, and he can do that. He can go home anytime and just end it. He could do that, but then he would need to deal with the politics on the home front. And that would be a difficult thing because so much has been sacrificed. It has cost Russia so much. Hundreds of thousands, maybe even 1 million soldiers. And Ukraine also paying a very heavy price, continues to pay a heavy price as European leaders discuss what to do next, how to keep Trump engaged, the shift, the pivot from supplying Ukraine with weapons to selling Ukraine weapons and the European Union. Is that sustainable? Will it work? Some say yes. It changes the dynamics considerably. We shall see. We will know more tomorrow when Zelensky is in Washington to meet with Trump. We will be covering it right here. We'll have more for you on that tomorrow night. Now, Charlie Angus said he thought that the senator from Maine, that was a joke initially, and then realized, no, it's real. You know what I thought was a joke today? This thing with James Comey, the former FBI director and Taylor Swift fan, has released a video talking about how Taylor Swift inspires him and how she helps him deal with Trump. I thought this was kind of bizarre, frankly. This is the former director of the FBI. I love Taylor Swift. At my second Taylor Swift concert in Hartford, he says, Connecticut, 14 years ago, she sang a song about this topic, asking, why you gotta be so mean? Comey says in this video, quoting Swift's 2010 song, Mean, as he discussed how mean people are on X. So it's pretty, this is pretty crazy. I'm going to run it for you. I don't know if it's news. Yes, it is. It's also entertainment, which I hate to say. It's true. Okay. Former FBI director, social media influencer. Maybe this is his new career. X-tuber.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to my Substack. Last week's cold turns out to have been COVID. Quite a flashback. And Donald Trump is still president and still humiliating America on a national stage, standing next to Vladimir Putin. It's like a dream, a bad dream you can't wake up from. But I don't want to talk about that bad dream this week. I want to talk about a truly inspirational public figure named Taylor Swift. Of course, I watched her podcast interview with the Kelsey brothers. Of course, I watched the whole thing, although on YouTube, Patrice and I got kicked off for the last 15 minutes and finished it on her phone. But I watched it. You see, Taylor Swift and I go way back. I went to my first concert of hers 15 years ago. I've been to a second, and I have helped financially support the attendance of a lot of family members at others. I'm in a family's Swiftie group chat. I know all her music, and I listen to it in my headphones when I cut the grass. So yes, I have a favorite of hers, although honestly for me it's a tie between All Too Well, 10-minute version, and Exile featuring Bon Iver. Taylor Swift has grown up with my family and provided us a soundtrack, really, as we've grown ourselves and learned and adapted and dealt with adversity and celebration. She had songs for all of it. I suspect that's something that millions of Americans have also experienced in their families. I think that's because Taylor Swift produces great art, but also because she models something. At every stage of her career, she's shown a certain way of being that resonated with my kids and also felt right to me as a parent. And she's still doing that as a grown-up. Like a lot of you, I struggle with how to stand up to bullies without letting their meanness infect me and change me. You may have seen that the governor of California has been generating a lot of attention lately by posting on social media in a satirical way where he mocks Donald Trump and his all-caps megalomania and his absurdity. And I find it very funny, hilarious even sometimes. But I gotta be honest, it also leaves me with a strange feeling at times because I don't want us to become like Trump and his followers. There are far more decent, honest, kind people in America than there are mean jerks. And don't get me wrong, we have our jerks, millions of them, you may have noticed. In particular, there's a stunning coarseness and ugliness in the Republican Party today. It's upsetting, but it's also a minority of America. On the whole, we aren't like that, and we don't like that. I think that's a big part of the reason so few Americans support Donald Trump when they have to see him and that up close, and why Republicans are so worried about what's coming for them next year. And to be clear, I am not an advocate for weakness. Of course we need to stand up to jerks and defend what matters, but I think we have to try to do that without becoming like them, which is what makes me think about Taylor Swift. She's made clear that she sees Donald Trump for what he is. And last year, she urged Americans not to make the serious mistake of electing him. Of course, we're now living with the consequences of that mistake. But while our elderly, makeup-covered president is posting about whether Taylor Swift is still hot and declaring that he can't stand her, what's she doing? Living her best life, producing great music and, as she urged all of us to do during the podcast, not giving the jerks power over her mind. She said something about dealing with internet trolls that stuck with me. Think of your energy as if it's expensive, she said, as if it's like a luxury item. Not everyone can afford it. I really enjoy reading Arthur Brooks, who writes columns about happiness in The Atlantic. I don't know if he's a Swiftie, but last week he wrote about research on the way that being rude or snarky actually hurts the rude person. As he wrote, when you become less polite, the alteration in your conduct can make you less happy, more depressed, and angrier about life. I know you get that even without the research. Just watch Fox News or hang around on X and you'll see what he means. We can't stop people from being jerks. What we can do is stop it from hurting us, from changing us. At my second Taylor Swift concert in Hartford, Connecticut, 14 years ago this summer, she sang a song about this topic, asking, why you gotta be so mean? And she spoke directly to the nasty people. I bet you got pushed around. Somebody made you cold. But the cycle ends right now because you can't lead me down that road. You'll be glad I didn't sing that. That's right. Because down that road is unhappiness. Nobody should have that power over us. Thank you, Taylor Swift. Keep the faith.
James Comey. I understand the message. I'm not a teenage girl, so the Taylor Swift music just isn't up my alley. But you know who is in the alley, in the back alley, waiting to come in? This guy right here.
I see what you did there. Interesting segue.
Just made that one up off the fly. Your audio seems a little low, Joseph, from Detroit. I'm not sure why.
Let me fix that. Say
Yeah, it's definitely a little bit low. Can you maybe just move your microphone in closer?
Okay, I could probably do that, but
That
then
helps
you'll
a little
hear
bit. Yeah, that
you'll
helps a
hear
bit.
my sinus. I'm having allergy issues today, so you'll
It's
probably hear my deep breathing through my sinus issues.
it's probably all the smoke from our wildfires coming down there
Well, there
to
is
smoke you
that.
out.
The
Yeah,
wind is coming that direction.
it does. It does. Sorry about that. It's not intentional, I assure you. Not on our side. Yeah. So I don't know if there's anything else you can do to boost your gain there.
Yeah, I'm still looking for the stupid audio settings. It's
How about
letting
that?
me.
There, that's better.
Oh,
I
is
made
it better now?
I made an adjustment on my side.
Oh, okay.
Now
Well,
you're
that
rocking and rolling. Now everybody can
okay.
hear you
That's
better.
all right. Yeah, because for some reason it's letting me into the video settings,
Yeah, no, we're
but
good.
not the audio ones.
No, I've got you up and you are rocking and
Okay.
rolling and you sound good. It's like a Phil Spector wall of sound. Yeah. I'll tell you,
Good.
I sent you this.
Glad I got like the background I chose.
Yeah, it's very good. Yeah, we're all set for the movie review. War of the Worlds. I'm glad you could join me tonight to help with this. I wasn't sure if you were going to do this tonight or not. I'm impressed and grateful that you immediately went to go and find the movie and watch it. I watched it last night, War of the Worlds 2025 with Ice Cube, and when I messaged you, you messaged back. You went, "There's a new War of the Worlds movie? What are you talking about?"
I'm a huge H.G. Wells anything fan. So almost every remake, reboot, reimagining of War of the Worlds, I'm in for. So when you said, because I looked and I found one from Britain from 2023 on my dish, but then, yeah, I could Amazon Prime, which is because it's Amazon Prime heavily involved in the making of the film, and we'll get into the why in a little bit. But yeah, so a new War of the Worlds definitely signed me up. I wanted to see it.
Yes, I was surprised too. I mentioned or told everyone here that we are producing a War of the Worlds audio production. We're going to run it here on the program in the weeks ahead, and it's in production right now. And I'm trying to include a bunch of people from our online community here, including you, to be part of this thing. And I'm having fun with it. But I didn't realize there was this new movie coming out, and it just popped up, online because, of course, I was doing research as I was writing the scripts and stuff, and then I realized there's this new movie out. So I've been sitting on it for a couple of weeks, and I finally saw it last night. I watched it with my wife after we did the broadcast here, and boy, I've got some strong opinions on it.
I've got some conflicting opinions on it. And I just popped up on my dish. I started watching War of the Worlds, The Attack subtitle from 2023. So you might want to look into that one as part of this too. But as I told you in the email, the last real War of the Worlds one I knew of was the Tom Cruise Dakota Fanning one.
Yes, that was in 2000. I think it was 8. 2000.
It was a while, and it also had Craig Bierko in it, who is in my favorite movie of all time, The 13th Floor, which is a Matrix movie that came out slightly before the Keanu Reeves Matrix quadology now, since there was a fourth.
Oh my God, I just looked it up. 2005 was that long ago.
Yeah, Dakota was still pretty young in that movie. Yeah, Craig Bierko was it, and oh my God, he was so horrible in that film. Though he was great in The 13th Floor, but apparently Roland Emmerich got something out of him no other director could, because every other movie I've seen Craig Bierko in, he sucked. But anyway, we're not here to talk about that one.
Well, we're here to talk about them all to some degree. But of course, the reason we're talking about them tonight is twofold. One, because we're producing our own version, and two, because this new movie is out with Ice Cube, not to be confused with Ice-T or Icing or Dean Kane's Ice. Superman joins Ice.
Whole other story there. And Eva Longoria. And yeah, well, that was one of the things I was going to say. I jumped on IMDb. I wanted to know how much money they put in, because it's gone straight to streaming for the most part. And no hint of what they spent. Now, I could see obvious corners they cut. I think AI creations of a lot of the segments was used, so they were able to maybe skim some money off the cost there. And obviously, Ice and Eva, not like big in demand stars, so I'm sure they didn't get a big paycheck.
Yeah, it came off to me feeling very cheap. I didn't. That's the. I thought it was an innovative and unique approach to telling the story. It was up to date. They, of course, sort of tried to tell this story from the perspective of being inside, the online world that we're all immersed in to one degree or another. So I thought that was interesting and valid, but I'm not sure that it really worked for me because the effects felt cheap. It felt like I was just online looking at stuff through the entire film.
It felt never like you were online jumping from YouTube to TikTok videos.
Yes, because they never, I don't think, do they ever actually break out into the real world?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There were. I mean, his daughter. The exterior scenes. There were exterior scenes that they then obviously spent some money on special effects. I'll give them credit. The alien craft looked really good. Yeah. So,
but see, that they spent so much time in the cyber world that even as I sit here trying to think of it just never felt like we ever actually left it inside the internet. Even there were scenes that were action scenes outside, but just a lot of it, so much of it just looked like you were looking at a computer screen, that it was just excessive.
Since it really was his point of view the whole film, they had to do it that way. It's him in the NSA office. So the military scenes and whatnot are all news feeds that he taps into to be his eyes and ears outside his walls.
Right. And so people understand what you're talking about, Ice Cube plays a Mr. Radcliffe, who is a national security. What was it? It was an NSA agent, or anyway, he worked.
Homeland Security, NSA, something.
Cyber guy. And so he's online. His job is basically to spy on people from this office in Homeland Security building, and he's tapping into security cameras, satellite footage, hacking into anything digital. He's the guy checking you out, tracking every movement of anybody that he wants to tap into. And actually, you see that he's invading the privacy even of his own family, his daughter, and
his son,
his son, and everything.
Yeah,
and so it's like,
his soon-to-be son-in-law. Yeah.
Yes. So he knows everything about everyone. There's no escaping this guy.
He thinks he does.
He thinks he does, yes.
He thinks, right, a little tease. Back to IMDb. Yeah. It's got a 2.6 out of 10 rating. So, I mean,
it's pretty bad.
Being a huge H.G. Wells fan, and I'll see any version of War of the Worlds that comes out, and I've seen others that are far better and some that are worse. And I loved the I'm not sure if it was Prime or Netflix, War of the Worlds with Gabriel Byrne and Edgar Daisy Jones, who was in the Twister reboot. Was in the first season of that the first season was great, then it got ridiculous. But so I'll see anything related to this. So I've seen a lot better, obviously. I've seen a few worse. A 2.6 out of 10 is about right. I'm glad I saw it. I recommend seeing it because there is value, and I want to give it credit for, well, first let me tear it a new one. Right? The whole thing was clearly an Amazon Prime excuse. It was nothing but a product placement advertisement for Amazon Prime. Somebody went into Bezos' office and said, I got a great idea, and this is the result. And don't be surprised if you don't see a War of the Worlds Amazon Prime exclusive game to make money off it too, coming, if not out already. But there are valid subplots, right?
Yes.
The family values thing,
Yeah.
and the privacy rights questions, our over-reliance on electronic digital.
Yes.
When the grid goes down, not if, but when, we're in a world of hurt because we're too reliant on this equipment stuff.
Yeah. Digital universe. Yep. All
Those
valid
are
points you're making. Yes.
All valid questions in the movie.
And
but
that's how they've updated the story here to make it relevant and current for now. It's because it's all they're weaving our new digital reality into the storyline. The idea of the aliens dying from a virus at the end, as we saw, like in say,
it kept that, but a different kind of virus.
Right.
Yeah.
So you've got these little nanobot things that are sort of cyber organic hybrid microorganisms that are brought into the big tripod alien machine things that attack everything are just Trojan horses in order to deliver these teeny tiny cyber organisms into these actually secret government offices where they have not just the Homeland Security surveillance system set up, but there's another one called Goliath beneath that nobody's even really aware of. That's like the real threat to the world.
Yeah, the whole part of that is ultimately what lured them because they crave data. They eat the whole eat data thing. It's like, come on. I mean, that's kind of a farce and a joke, but okay. Again, a movie you expect to suspend reality for the story's sake. And then again, but what a couple times I was ready to tune out because of the whole, just so you know, going in. Again, see it, but I'm for full disclosure, right? It's an Amazon Prime stunt, an excuse to have Amazon Prime threaded through the whole damn movie.
Well, they have to finance it somehow.
Yeah, and I get it. Movies can be expensive and product placement, I get that. It's a thing. But they took it too far. It's just too much.
Yeah, well, here's a review from Quarter Black Gift. Does that sum it up for you?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. So a lot of memes online, people making videos, making fun of the movie. In most cases, it is pretty bad. I have to say, as bad as it was strangely engaging. Because I've seen some better movies that didn't keep me as engaged.
Yeah.
Does that make sense to you?
No, I feel exactly it. It was clever and interesting enough to keep me engaged through the whole thing, despite the massive holes. But think 20 years from now, this might be a cult classic. Look at all the silly films
Yes, that's true.
that went on to become cult classics later because they're so bad they're good.
Yeah. That's right. I can see, you're exactly right. I could see watch parties. I could see people going out to the theaters and I don't know, maybe getting dressed up in costumes. I'm not sure what costumes you would wear
Rocky
for
Horror
this,
Picture Show kind
that
of
kind
thing.
of thing. Yeah. Yeah. Celebrating the badness of the flick, right? It's so bad it's actually good in a weird sort of a way. It's an unusual film, one of the most unusual movies I've seen. I mean, just it's like
Now,
here's Ice Cube.
I have seen other point of view films, and I can't think of any offhand, but there's a few that, had to do with like a Facebook type thing, Facebook murders type thing. And, it's all through the prism of online dating and whatnot. So this isn't original from that perspective. But as you said, it is an interesting and clever way to present a way to retell this story in a new way that may engage younger people who otherwise would say, H.G. Wells, who?
Yeah. Yes. What did you think of Ice Cube? I thought that he was okay, but a part of the reason I think the movie is bad is he just wasn't strong enough in some of these scenes. But he wasn't strong enough because the role was so demanding, because so much fell to him in his he takes up so much of the space in the movie from his office, because it's all mostly from a first person's perspective. It's immersed through his computer screen, what he's seeing. He has to carry the film, but I just felt that his performance, his personality just wasn't charismatic enough to really carry the movie. I think that's one of the reasons it just didn't
Same
live
with
up.
Eva Longoria in it. I thought the acting overall with all of them was suspect, not great. But again, the way they were expected to be in these roles and play these parts in these kind of quick snapshot jumping about fashion would be it throws me back to 9/11 with Charlie Sheen and Whoopi Goldberg. The acting is horrible. The film ain't great, but most of the movie takes place in an elevator. So I'm glad it was a dedicated to first responders that lost their lives on 9/11. So I love the film from that perspective, but the acting was rather so. And I see this movie the same way, but yet again, I appreciate having seen it.
Yeah, I'm glad I watched it, because it gave me a few different ideas on what we should do with our production. And I have to make sure that we don't make it too similar to what they've done. They're definite. I don't know if you can say great minds think alike, but there were some things that were in alignment with what I was writing heading into this thing. So here's Ice Cube, Mr. Radcliffe, discovering that his son is a hacker.
How could you? It's you. It's you.
Yeah. Well, yes, kind of.
How could you, man? It's
that's sort of a new twist on the smart kids telling the adults how it's done, right?
Oh, exactly. I like the war game reference in there too.
Would you like to
play a game? Right. Yes. It's the same play of that movie. The kids know more than the adults, and the kids should be right. So there's that angle. But from the perspective of, again, family values, privacy right questions, and over dependence on our electronics, those are valid concerns in the movie, and therefore it's worth watching for those angles.
Yeah. What did you think of the kid, his son? Did he was I found him to be a little bit I don't know what it was about the performances. All of them actually. They just felt like it just came up a little short. It was all very mediocre.
Yes. No, I agree with you. There's hardly much else to say, really.
So that might be one of
that
might be one of the things that makes it a cult classic is sort of the hollow, stiff, empty performance. Empty. That's a pretty harsh term.
Oh, I remember what I wanted to say too. Right after you played the clip, something came in my head, then left it. It goes back to, like you said earlier at the top, in my response. Yeah, he knows everything because he's watching. And I said he thinks he knows everything, and that scene is a revealer indicator, a big spoiler in a way, of he doesn't know as much as he thinks he does. Again, the war games thing, right? The kids are smarter than the adults.
What was I going to say? I was checking over on a technical thing there for a moment, so my mind is a little bit distracted. But there was this scene the one scene that really stuck with me was the kids who are involved in this hacking ring, and they're going to save the world, of course, right? There's a scene where they're flying a little drone to attack the aliens or whatever, and it crashes. It's upside down, and so they're trying to hack into a phone, call this homeless guy who's living in a tent, and I'm like, well, that's definitely current for today, right? Because I've got
it was filmed in the LA area.
Yeah, and we have a tent city just a few blocks from where I live here now, Joseph. So it's everywhere, man.
But that leads to another joke in the way overboard of the Amazon Prime product placement. Oh, tell him we need him he's going to help save the world. No, it's scary. I don't want. Oh, give him $1,000 Amazon card. Oh, okay, I'll do it. Yeah. Oh, come on, please.
Yeah. So there was that, and you know what it was. The actual, if I remember right, this is why it stuck with me, that scene. So you've got this homeless guy living in a tent, and they call him on a cell phone. So he has a cell phone, even though he lives in a tent. Okay. So then they send him a message. Please go flip that drone right side up so they can fly it again. And he won't do it at first. And they say, we'll give you a year of free. The government will give you a free year of internet. And what's his response? He says, why? So they can track me?
Well, they already are on your phone.
That's
Hello,
right?
Yeah,
already, dude. They're already tracking you. Yeah. There's no escape. But I thought that was just hilarious. It was so true.
Yeah, but it was a clear setup for another. Oh, give him $1,000 Amazon card product placement.
So it was funny. You have to see the film to really fully appreciate it, right? Because if you haven't seen it, you don't know really what we're talking about. Nevertheless,
where I saw it on Amazon Prime here in the States. Where did you see it last night?
I don't know. My wife put it on, but it was on. Maybe it was on. I don't know, man. I just said, you want to watch a movie since I'm done with the program? Yeah, okay. So we turned on the tube and she was flipping through. I don't know where she was selecting them from. There it was. I said, oh, well, I wanted to watch that, and because we're doing this production of War of the Let's watch it. So she puts it on. I don't know where she found it. But it was. That's why I said today. I'm sure you can find it online someplace or through some.
Yeah. Again, if you're an Amazon Prime member, which I am indeed, because in full disclosure, order way too much from Amazon. And I want the Amazon Prime TV subscription because there's quite a few things available streaming there that I do want to be able to watch. So it's free to Amazon Prime subscriber members. Now, whether you could probably rent it if you're not a Prime member, but I would not have paid to see that if it weren't already included.
It is still running in theaters in some cities.
That's what you said, and it's like IMDb says straight to streaming.
I don't know.
No indication
Because I
of
saw
box
it
office
because
anywhere.
I went to a movie with my wife, right? A few weeks ago. We don't go. I've only been to the movies like once, twice in the past 2 years, whatever. But anyway, I used to go to the movies all the time. So, and we're starting to see more movies now because we're doing this. But no, when I found it on the roster of films to see at the theater over here, depending on the city you're in. So the Galaxy Cinemas through Cineplex in our country.
Limited run in theaters, probably mostly outside the U.S. then.
Yeah, but it's out there. So if you're curious, you can go find this version of War of the Worlds. Now, I did get a list here of all the different major versions. So you've got that 2005 version directed by Spielberg involving Tom Cruise, which obviously they spent big money on. I remember it, but here's the thing. Even though you had Spielberg, Cruise, all that money, I only remember a little bit about that film.
Yeah.
A few scenes.
Yeah.
The one scene that really stuck with me from that was the scene where he's sitting in his kitchen with all the junk around him, and there's like a motor from a car in his kitchen. And I'm like, yeah, that's me. Right? So that stuck with me.
I don't think it did as much at the box as they certainly were expecting. Tom Cruise is one of those people, love him or hate him. I don't like him personally. I think he's flaky, but I like his movies. I'm sorry. I do like his movies. Any movie Tom Cruise is in, and there was that one they tried to create like a new Mummy series. Oh God, that stunk so bad. But any movie, Mission Impossible, the latest one, was but I like him as an actor, not a person. Reacher was a reach, pun intended, right? And they had to film that in such particular angles, and they had to hire other shorter actors because Reacher, if you know the book at all, he's like 6'5", and Tom Cruise is what, 5'5"? So for him to be that character was a stretch.
So that was 2005. Also, I didn't know this, but in 2005, there was a direct-to-video film released as well. Same year. Didn't even know it. Haven't seen it. There was a 2019 BBC miniseries. There was another TV series created around the same time by Howard Overman. And then you've got this new one now. There was the 1988 to 1990 TV series that was out there. I'm not even really familiar with that.
I don't remember that at all.
I don't remember it at all, but it's out there. That's one of the major ones. 1953. That's the classic. The the George Powell classic flick from 1953, and of course, it's a great movie. Like it's better than the Tom Cruise Spielberg flick as far as I'm concerned. When I was a kid, I watched. Maybe it's because I watched it when I was a kid, but the colors,
I think
the
that
tone,
factors a little. Yeah, I mean we're older, so I mean you have a little more fealty to things that you saw that were originals as opposed to then a bazillion reboots of things. And
then of course there's the thing that started it all, really, like in terms of pop culture, the 1938 radio broadcast with Orson Welles, where we're told that a lot of people believed it was an actual radio broadcast involving an invasion of Martians, and a lot of people took it seriously. Some of that stuff, I think, was overblown in the media because it made for a better story.
Of course.
But it's Never let the truth get in the way of a good
But
story.
given Roswell and conspiracy theories that immediately started after that, I can see some people getting caught up in that, right? Because they actually thought they could trust the media then. Normally, it was what, ABC, I think. So it sounded like a real newscast.
No, it wasn't. I don't think it was ABC in 1938. It was the Mercury Theater. It was on CBS.
Oh, CBS. Okay.
Yes. Now, that being said, I know that over the years, other broadcasters have created their own versions. That's actually what inspired me to do this. You know what it was? My car show, automotive show, was running on WKBW out of Buffalo, and they have a radio station there. And I did not realize this, but back in the 60s, I think it was, WKBW radio did a version of, this is out of Buffalo, which broadcasts right into Canada too. And they did a version, and it's really good. It's very realistic as well. And I was listening to that, and I said, we got to do our own version of this. So that's why we're doing it.
There was supposed to be an animated version, or no, it might have been live action, but Jeff Wayne, the guy from Thin Lizzy, the rock group, got together with Moody Blues content creator, music creators, and created Jeff Wayne's The Musical version of the War of the Worlds.
Ours is going to be a musical.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Hey, are you aware of the Jeff Wayne's musical version?
No, I'll have to go.
You got to get that on CD. You got to get that.
Actually, if you go looking online, there's a lot. There are many different versions.
Yeah, and they were supposed to
make great.
They were supposed to make a musical movie version of the musical version. It is excellent. Oh, the music, the songs, how they weave that into the story, fantastic. You got to check that out.
Have you heard have you ever listened to the full 1938 version with Orson Welles?
Yeah, I had it on vinyl at one time. Yes.
Yeah, it's a little scratchy, some of the versions, but some have been cleaned up.
I sold off most of my records and that one with it, but I had it at one time.
Well, I think we will run it here probably the week before we broadcast our version, so that people will be familiar with it, all the people in our community here, in our Maverick family. And I'm looking forward to it. I'm having fun recording these. So, and I'll just remind people, if you want to be part of this, you're all welcome. I'll try to get as many people involved as want to be. And I'll put the email address up. So if you want to participate, just send me an email at maverickmultimedia@mail.com, and we'll get connected with everybody. And through a day before we come on the air, I will be in touch with everybody involved, and we'll record some segments with people where you'll have a role. I'll give you some suggestions. We'll ad lib some of the stuff, and then I'll be editing all of this stuff together. And I've already started. It's turning out to be quite a job. A lot of work involved, right? As it always is. But it's fun. I think it'll be worth it. And my mom is going to be in it.
Oh, now is technically H.G. Wells, that came out so long ago, is the story in public domain now?
It is.
Yeah.
So we won't get sued. It'll be okay. It is in the public domain.
And that's another reason, though, why people make those kind of films. Something goes into public domain, they don't have to pay copyrights and royalties.
That's right. Yes. So we're safe on that front. And it's a great story. It really is.
It is, yeah.
And it resonates today. It's very relevant today, because you watch the George Powell version from the 1950s, and of course, what is it that kills the aliens in the end? A virus, which you can, what's going on today? Viruses of all kinds, right? Computer viruses in the air, and blah blah blah. So it's this is stuff, as you saw in the 2025 version with Ice Cube. a version on a new twist on computer data and viruses and cyber organisms. So there's a lot that you can do with this story to update it to today's reality.
And we're working with nanotechnology now, implantable nanobots to potentially do something. Well,
Yep.
what if they go rogue? How do we kill our creation? Can it kill code or kill switches in them somehow?
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, back to what was it? Roland Emmerich's Independence Day, right? That movie ended with them flying up and inserting a virus into the mothership, right? So again, these not completely new ideas, but a different twist on
Yeah,
them.
Independence Day was really just kind of a new twist on the whole War of the Worlds story.
In a way, yes, it really was. Yes.
Yeah, they just wanted to put their own brand on it, I think, so that they could license it for future sequels and merchandising and stuff like that. But it's really the War of the World story.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
But I love actually Independence Day. I loved that movie. I thought it was just stellar.
I did too. Yeah, I did too.
Better than the Cruise Spielberg version.
Yeah, I'm a big Roland Emmerich fan. The Independence Days, The Day After Tomorrow. No, he's not a major climate tyrant. It just made a good story, and The 13th Floor was his. I'm a huge Roland Emmerich fan.
Yeah, and Jeff Goldblum was in Independence Day. Yeah, it was a great flick, man. It was really good. The action scenes, the fly, the dog fights, all of that stuff was just stellar. But that's where this 2025 version fell short for me. The effects didn't feel right. Because of so much of it involved effects being displayed on what appeared to be a computer screen, and that on maybe it's because I watched it on a television screen, even though it was, it's a fair, not huge screen, but it seemed to fall short. It was like you were trying to watch this epic movie through a screen, through another screen that was broken up into multi-screens.
Yeah.
And it's just...
did I mention Roland Emmerich was the mastermind behind Stargate, which then launched my favorite TV series, Stargate SG-1 of all times. Yeah. And his latest that he did was Moonfall. Again, all his movies are wild, ridiculous, outrageous, over the top, outlandish, right? Independence Day, ridiculous and wild and over the top. But I love it. And Moonfall is the same way. The hollow moon, everyone knows the hollow earth theory, but a lot of people don't know the hollow moon theory, and it makes great use of that concept.
Well, so at the end of all of this, give me, I guess your final rating and whether you would recommend people watch it.
Yeah, I was gonna give it a C minus, but IMDb, I think the 2.6 out of 10 is pretty. One person gave it a 10. It's like what is that? Ice Cube's relative or something, and they're all below. Most are way below 5. A lot of ones. Normally you dismiss the high end and low end, but when you get that many ones, it's telling you something.
Well, yeah, even over on Rotten Tomatoes, it's getting panned. It's just what is, let me just check there. What was the rating on Rotten Tomatoes? I saw it earlier, but I want to be accurate because it's important.
To compare it to the IMDb 2.6 of 10. Yeah. Now the thermometer, as opposed to the critics. 3%. I don't care what the critics have to say, but the audience, the popcorn rating is the audience rating. That's what matters to me more.
Here it is. So Rotten Tomatoes, 3%. The
Well,
popcorn meter, 21%, tomato meter, 3%. What does
I
that mean?
agree more with the 20. Now, I think that 21 lends credence to my point. It's so bad, it's good. It's going to be a cult classic.
Well, okay. Well, we're not going to dwell on this tonight. Again, if you want to take part in our version, our production of War of the Worlds, just send me an email at maverickmultimedia@mail.com. And I'll throw it over to Joseph for a final thought tonight and a question, actually. I don't know if you noticed the message I sent to you about the upcoming meeting tomorrow with Zelensky and Trump in Washington. Are you going to join me on the program to talk about that tomorrow?
Yeah. I'm available tomorrow that evening. I would love to join in because a lot of people are trashing, the meeting. Now there's Europeans involved. Well, NATO should be involved. This is more a Europe issue than it is US or Canada issue. So yes, they should be involved. And yes, they should give some security guarantees in order to have a peace agreement. So yes, they should be involved. I don't see that as a bad thing.
Okay. Well, great. Well, hold your comments for tomorrow because we'll see what happens during the day. And I'm glad to have you coming back because I'm eager to get your perspective from the Detroit side, and I think also kind of a Republican side, a MAGA side. But I know you're not like a MAGA maniac. You're you'll criticize where criticism is warranted. So yeah, I'm hoping to get your perspective on this tomorrow, and it'll be very helpful.
If you're going to go to Amazon, rather than go to Prime, go to Amazon.ca and get The Book of Kennedy book that just came out. Now, that's not actually the cover. This was to be the cover. It didn't land up being the cover, but The Book of Kennedy. Nothing to do with JFK, RFK. Kennedy is a kind of looks like, I wear this everywhere now because people come up and say, is that Sydney Sweeney? Is that Sydney Sweeney on your book? So I wear it everywhere because it helps me promote my book.
Who is it? Is it anybody? Or is
AI generated. AI generated. Yep.
All right. So a fake woman for a real book.
Yes.
Okay. A Sydney Sweeney knockoff. How about that? Whatever.
I generated her look before the whole American Eagle jeans ad dust up. So it's like, how fortuitous. I'll cash in on the resemblance.
When did you first become aware that Sydney Sweeney even existed?
Yeah, I'd heard the name before, but I didn't know who it was. Yeah, until that ad and this dust up, I couldn't
never heard of her before.
Face with the name, but I'd heard of it. So I know she's semi-popular and somewhat of an influencer. So, and in fact, I don't think she's gorgeous by any means.
She looks like just kind of a girl next door type to me, but
I think she's cute. And in fact, go over to beforeitsnews.com and look at my Beauty Indeed in the Eye of the Beholder article, and I talk about this right there. She's cute. There's elegant beauty. There's drop dead gorgeous. There's intriguing beauty. I put together a thing that all the classifications of beauty, right? To me, I think she's a 6.5, but a lot of guys get a look at the body and all of a sudden they think she's an 8, right? So, and likewise, vice versa, you can have an 8, they open their mouth and the inner ugly comes out and they become a 5 real quick.
Yeah, I wasn't even aware of her before. And I didn't even know the name until all this started. So, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, briefly. The left idiocy, right? Hey, leftards. Who created the eugenic stuff? Margaret Sanger and you demo KKK rats that Hitler adopted it from. So your supposed outrage about eugenics are just hilarious when you are the morons that basically invented that pseudoscience, and the ads about real DNA science, and they don't flip out about the Dunkin' Donuts ad with a Hispanic guy talking about his good genetics, and they don't say anything about Lizzo, who did a video about my genes are black, not a peep. And now there's a Progressive Insurance ad, another piece I've got up at beforeitsnews.com about that. Not a peep about the Progressive Insurance talking about inherent traits. Did you get grandpa's jawline or grandpa's smile? And there's a black woman on the screen. Oh, not a peep about that, but the white blonde girl with blue eyes. Oh, freak out.
Well, I dare not venture into the whole Sydney Sweeney controversy here tonight. I don't really care that much, frankly. It's just celebrity hype, and is it American Eagle jeans? Or
yeah,
Brent?
American
Okay,
Eagle.
so they've had all kinds of free publicity out of this. So it's been a very successful campaign.
The
for
line
them.
of jeans she's selling sold out. Their stock,
yeah,
it's only like a $12 stock though, but for a $12 stock, it's through the roof, So they're laughing all the way to the bank.
It seems so. Well, what we're going to do is I'm going to pay tribute to both you, Joseph, and the Motor City tonight down there in Detroit and Canada, and our mutually shared history.
Windsor, south of me across the river. Well, yes. South of Detroit.
But do you know how I'm going to do that? We're going to wrap up tonight with one of my favorite songs from Maverick and the News Brothers, Little Black Vet. And the reason it's a dual tribute is because, of course, it's American muscle, but a whole lot of Corvettes actually produced in where? Kanakistan, Quebec. It's true. Factory up there. So American muscle with a Canadian twist. Now, this is not so. The Little Black Vet, it goes back to the 60s. So it's very, very American. But we'll be back tomorrow night, myself and Joseph, as we bring you coverage from tomorrow's big meeting between Zelensky and Trump in Washington, USA. And folks, thanks for joining us here on the broadcast tonight. We'll be back tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern, on the flip side.
Well, she's sitting in the driveway all dressed in black. Got that slick paint, she got the knack. Chrome glimmers in the moonlight, like a star on the rise. When I slide behind the wheel, I feel alive. Oh, I can't deny. Got the little black vet, she's my midnight ride. Rolling down the highway with my girl by my side. Fast as a whisper, smooth as a dream. In my little black vet, we're a rock and roll team. Leather seats and a rumble that shakes the ground. With the top down low, we're lost in the sound. That engine growls like a lion's roar. Every mile we take, I just want more. Got the little black vet, she's my midnight ride. Rolling down the highway with my girl by my side. Fast as a whisper, smooth as a dream. In my little black vet, we're a rock and roll team. Oh, the world slows down when we hit that street. The wind in our hair can't be beat. With the guitar laying under the stars so bright. In my little black vet, everything feels right.
And I have to say, I misspoke about the Quebec thing. I'll correct all of that tomorrow. I'm talking about parts. I'll be back 7 p.m. Eastern on the floor.
This has been a Maverick Multimedia production.